Because I'm grateful, grateful, grateful to you, Lord. Flowing from my heart are the issues issues of my heart, flowing from my heart is gratefulness. I am grateful. I am grateful to God on today and every day, every minute of every day, for every breath that I breathe. God is in us, God flows through us, and God is all around us. And where God is, there can be no imperfection. In fact, God is perfecting us 24/7 as we yield. Amen. Amen. It is good to see you in this classroom setting here at Imani Temple for our fourth night of On a Mission from God, Tapping the Power Within. You in the right place at the right time? Okay. You had a look on your face, and I was wondering, I would say, maybe your class is down the hall. Just what we're going to start off with a review. The song was the prayer, okay? And then I'll ask somebody to pray us out. And you do get points for class participation, for attendance and participation. As a point of review, I want to remind you of some tips. I want to give you some tips. That's what I want to do, give you some tips. But before I go any further, again, we are on a mission from God, tapping the power within. So let us begin by reciting the mission statement of Imani Temple. Imani Temple, African American Catholic congregation, believes that people who do not take ownership and control over their own destiny, moved by the genius of their culture, can never achieve full spiritual, social, economic, political, cultural, educational, and psychological maturity. While Imani Temple AACC is a church in an African-centered paradigm, it is a faith community for all peoples, races, and walks of life. All right, we said achieve full maturity, full spiritual, social, economic, political, cultural, educational, and psychological maturity. And we've talked about each one of those areas. So just as a point of review, the 10 tips for maturation and growth, you can remind me and one another what these tips refer to. First tip, retrain your brain to silence the negative voice in your head. Replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts and mantras, and repeat as needed. Which area does that fall under? Area of maturity that we're focusing on. The first 3 words should give you a clue. Retrain your brain. I'll take educational for sure. Yes, predominantly psychological, I would say. I don't know about you, but I get some negative voices every now and then, and I have to silence them. You have to silence them and replace them. I think some thoughts like, I am poor. And when I think about that, poor like economically or even poor in spirit, which I really don't go there, it never gets that bad because God is always there to lift me up. But I do have to replace those negative thoughts. And when I think about their lack in my life, I have to say I am a magnet for prosperity. There is no lack in my life. I have to retrain my thought process. And I want to challenge you to do that. I don't know what your negative thoughts are. You do. You have to speak to them and silence them. That's what you do when you're on the road to maturity. How about this one? Schedule me time. Take the time to work through problems effectively and efficiently.
Could be psychological as well.
Yeah, could be.
And social.
And spiritual, yes. Schedule me time. We were talking about doing, and serving others. And sometimes we don't take time for ourselves, or we can be so busy that we don't take the time to work on our stuff. I mean, before we know it, we done missed a bill that needs to get paid, or we just got a situation that's weighing heavy, but we think for some reason that if we don't focus on it, it's going to take care of itself. But sometimes for it to take care of itself, we do need to focus on it. We need to stop, be still, and get some instructions, because God is faithful to give us the instructions on how to work a situation out. But if we just get busy and just, take our minds off of it, it's still there. And it'll be there, and it'll have a snowball effect, going down a hill, getting bigger and bigger. But we've got to take the time to work through. The next one is real simple. Read. Read. Read books. I don't care if you get a hardbound book or you use your, iPad and pull something up. Whatever works for you. Is something about a book for me that the iPad or my laptop just doesn't do it for me. I gotta touch it. But I mentioned last night as we were studying that one of the books that I thought would be a blessing to you is Brainwashed by Tom Burrell. And it challenges the myth of black inferiority. Why does black inferiority need to be challenged?
Because that's how we've been trained to think.
We got those, we talked about those psychological chains of slavery. And yes, we've been conditioned to think that our stuff is less than it's down here, and somebody else's stuff is better than ours. Then another book I mentioned when I was talking about how old the Bible is and where the original writings actually come from. I mentioned the birth of the Bible. Everybody needs to know, especially the people that hold the book in high regard as the Word of God. What are the origins of it? Yeah, you got it. Cool. And then the last book I mentioned was They Stole It and You Must Return It. These are just some of my favorites on my bookshelf. And they're like go-tos. There's one that I'm trying to get into. Christianity and Ancient Egyptian Religion. I said I'm trying to get into it. I'm going to get there in a minute. But right now what I'm reading is a book I picked up in Ghana. And it talks about Africa yesterday, today and tomorrow. And it's what I read before I go to bed. I got Africa on my mind. This is the year of return. And so not only did I physically return, I have mentally, emotionally, and spiritually returned there as well. And I might be there for some time. I've been there, I am there, and I'll be there for some time. Read books. Books help you learn and grow. I had a role model that was tremendous. My mama read a book a day. She wasn't playing. You talk about well-educated, my. You can take constant and deliberate action on the things that you learn. You can quickly, when you read and you really get a concept, you can flesh it out by, being a doer of the word and not just a reader only. So, having said all of that, what area of maturity am I talking about? Listen more and speak less. This will help you to be a better leader and a better friend. Listen more, speak less. This will help you to be a better leader and a better friend. Yes. I'd say that. Ask for help. Yeah, I said it. Ask for help. Develop the ability to be vulnerable. You have to be able to connect, take chances, and ask for help when you need it.
But that's hard to do.
I was going to ask, why is it so hard for you to ask for help?
Because nowadays, it's like, well, for me, I don't want to appear to be vulnerable, or,
So if you are vulnerable, does that equate to you being weak?
yes,
Oh, okay.
Disclosing weakness.
Yes, sir.
One of the challenges that we have is demonically huge people.
Excuse me, just a second, hold it. I was instructed to ask you if you would to come to the mic and speak so that we don't have the gaps in this. We are doing this media new thing as far as our classes are concerned, and it's been a blessing to me to be able to go back and to the classes that I missed and even the classes that I was in to hear them. And then if there are breaks in it while we're conversing, then, but it's up to you, but you have that option. I just want to say that. That's why that second mic is there. I'm sorry, sir. Father Anderson is going to set an example. Yes, he is.
So one of the challenges with asking for help, particularly with ebonically hued or black and brown people, is that there's a stigma attached to receiving help. We're beginning to break that down, but oftentimes when we ask for help, it's recorded and then it's used against you. Oh, well, you were seeing a psychologist. Yeah. And so maybe this job might be too stressful for you. Although the psychologist said you've worked through stuff, you're not on any medication, that's you for so long.
So when you ask for help, you also ask God who to ask for help. Yes. And God answers prayer. God will give you somebody that you can be safe with to ask for help. I'm just looking at you and I see where you are, and you have no excuse to not ask for help because help is here. I know. I know you weren't specifically talking about this house, but the house, the doors of the church are open so that you can get help in the time of need. Okay, do we believe that or don't we? Or don't we? All right. Another thing I thought about when I was challenged to share with you this concept, because it's a challenge for me, asking for help. Because the word says that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So we get the notion that we can do all things. Just because we can do all things does not mean that we should be doing all things. So then you become this army of one instead of getting with some other soldiers and being mightier in battle when you link up. You can do all things, but all things are not for you to do. Focus on money. We talked about the money when we talked about economics, right? Know where your money is going. Invest in yourself. Still talking about money. Scale back on needless purchases. Those are the tips. That's all I got for you when it comes to money. I pray that we do something soon as it relates to financial management, because not only are we suffering as a generation, but the generation coming behind us, the millennials, are suffering because they have not been educated as far as financial management is concerned. Don't compare yourself to others. The act of comparing will only hold you back and undermine your ability to appreciate who you are. What level of maturity does that speak to? Ah, I'm glad you saw that. Yeah, and? Psychological as well. Mm-hmm. Real simple. Know thyself. Man, know thyself. Needs. You need to know your needs, what your needs are. People are quick to tell you what you need. But you know what you need. If you don't, then you need to find out what you need. You need to know what your best qualities are, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Have you spent any time getting to know yourself lately? Because you do know yourself is constantly evolving. I'm talking about the man or the woman in the mirror that you see when you get up in the morning and you look in that mirror. Do you know that person? Are you alarmed by what you see sometimes? Because you're like, well, who is that? Learn to say no. Harness your personal power. How do those two go together? And what is that all about? A tip. Learn to say no. Why do you need to learn to say no?
When enough is enough.
Ha. That's a good one. Know when to say no. Because you've had enough. And it's okay. When you've had enough, like, I've had it up to here. Nobody isn't. Yes. That's what that harnessing your personal power goes about.
I say the same way does not only apply to drinking.
Ha ha.
To every aspect
saying when does not just apply to drinking and drinking too much. Knowing when to say when, yeah. The last tip, number 10, own who you are and what matters most to you. Where are we with that? I say cultural. I say psychological. And spiritual. Let's say that again. And spiritual. Yes. Yeah. Own who you are and what matters most to you. Yeah. Yep. All right. There's a song that says, where there is unity, you will find strength. Unity makes strength. Unity makes strength. And then, of course, most songs are prayers. It says, God, please send your people unity. We are striving for unity. Is that accurate? Can we say that we have arrived at unity? Not by a long shot. The question is, do you think diversity is keeping you away from unity? You want me to answer that? I say, and this is not my common language, no way, Jose. We are diverse. It's a fact. But in terms of it keeping you away from unity, no, because a part of this maturity, this social maturity, has to do with respecting others. And everybody is different. So when you respect and honor others, it keeps us away if you don't have that level of maturity, yeah.
Okay, when you answer that, you answered it in the context of us as a people. I'm saying us in addition to the larger people, the people of other, in this melting pot of
And this
America.
us as a people.
I mean, you know, I
Because we are more alike than we are different. So why is that? And the thing about it, okay, I have to say this. We have this tendency to point out what's different. But like I said, we're more alike than we are different. And then I was going to say this, but this is just me. When we talk about being a community of all peoples, races, and walks of life, for me, there's only one race. And I believe that God only made one race. He made human beings. So, all that separation and divisiveness, that's man stuff. We allow that. We being man, allow those differences to be paramount. But like I said, we are more alike than we are different. Yes. Yes. This time.
Thank you. I think that what we sometimes fall into is the stratification of a dominant society. And so, just like brown and black and whatever pigmentation you want to assign, some of the concerns are the same. You have systems in place that suppress everybody. It boils down to a have and a have not kind of situation. And that stratification sometimes is so staggering that we assign race to it. But in fact, it's have and have saying, the other piece of that is that's man's madness and not what was designed. Because we feel the effects of capitalism here in America. But if you're in another system where there's a certain type of oppressive communism, if you're on the lower strata, you still feel those effects of some totalitarian kind of system. If you have a dictatorship, the only people that are struggling are those that are in the bottom and maybe close to the bottom. When you have financial health, your perspective on life is a little different than someone that is barely making their needs. And if you're not making your needs, then everybody's against you. But when you have a certain economic freedom, you encounter the world differently because the world interacts with you differently. It ain't fair, but it is what it is because, again, I agree. In the course that I'm teaching, one of the things that I point out is at the end of the day, we have more in common than we do outside of that. And the divisiveness is always to divide because when you can divide, what does the word say? A house divided cannot stand. It doesn't say what kind of house, it's any house. When you divide something, you don't have the same strength as when it's together. I understand what you're saying, and what I would add to that is it's the same struggle. Because if we take it to the highest level, in my humble thought, it becomes a yin and a yang, a light and a darkness. And they're going to always be at odds.
Always?
Well, not always.
Yeah. I mean,
It's going to be a long time.
Yeah, if we're convinced that it's always, I mean, then you get to the point of what's the use? You throw your hands up.
But that's when you start talking about the afterlife. That's another class.
Accepting that position that you're talking about. And one of those positions that I look at is, and then even as a child, for me, two things that hit my brain that I was totally against. One was birth control, mainly for black people. The other one was integration. And I'm saying, why? Why are we doing this? What is that about? I mean, I'm just going into teenage, 12, 13 years old when I heard about these things, but my mind told me that something is not right with that. Why do we have to get along with another race in order for our race to be accepted or what have you? And I think that that's the issue here that we're talking about one race. I believe in one race, but others do not. And that's why we are subjugated the way we are. Now the fact is, are we going to believe that? Are we going to continue to believe that? Or are we going to rise up, Marcus Garvey, and say, hey, do what you will. Come on. What are we waiting for? Judge Joe Brown, he has a famous saying, man up. He's talking to men because we have stumbled. You see? And today, women are beginning to lead the forefront. And we need to respect that. We don't respect our women like we should, you know. And so we need to give them the opportunity. We need to take that kind of recess for a minute, if you will.
Pound for pound, ounce for ounce, it doesn't matter what group you're talking about, the most educated person in America is an African American woman.
In the world. In the world. In the world. We hey man, I can't, you know, I get excited, and I get a little loud, and I continue on.
You should have passion.
Yeah, passionate as it is. But we at a point now, I mean a critical point. We've been there. When the guy wrote this thing about this bell curve, and all that. You see what I'm saying? He's telling us something. You know, this 45, everybody call him. This boy, he's telling us something. And he's not only there to tell us something, the Creator has placed him there to tell us something. We need to wake up. We need to hurry up and wake up.
Everything happens for your good if you can analyze what it is.
Well, yes.
I mean, I just echo what you're saying because that's a call to action.
is not 40 years ago or even more. We are going way back if we're not
Way
careful.
back.
And way back even told us what we're going to do if we weren't careful, and we ignored them. Our history, again, in this country, not just slavery, even after that. You know, our ancestors that were right here in this country, my daddy, you understand? I watched his life. He was a real man, but he was not rewarded as a real man. 2 wars, killed by the police. Same thing happened today. He was killed in the early 60s, mid-60s, by D.C. police. I was 15 at the time. So my point is that, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? How are we going to walk? Are we going to continue to walk in this subservient way, or are we going to walk upright? Stop moving. Jim Crow, come on, it's back.
Yep.
They're bringing it back. Right before our eyes.
Jim Crow.
And we're
Jim
falling
Crow.
into it. Yeah, Jim Crow. No, come on.
Okay.
Come on.
This is deep. This is rich, and I wish it was being recorded, but it's not because you not speaking into the mic.
I want to say this. I just want, I'm glad the dialogue is here. But when you talk about Jim Crow, when you talk about things like that, okay. Now I want to reiterate y'all this. I was born in 1961. Okay? In 1961, I had people that was at least 2 years younger than me can tell me they can remember the Martin Luther King. I don't remember anything about
Right,
Martin Luther
that's
King.
okay.
I know. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I grew up, like I said, in the nature that I grew up in. Okay? Not nurture, my nature that I grew up in. I seen the ending part of the agrarian society, the middle of the industrial society, and now we're into the technology. Okay? So I don't think that, any person that was born after me can bear witness to the fact of what we're seeing now. And what I say, I don't know nothing about Malcolm X, only what I read. Martin Luther King, only what I read and what I go visit. Okay? But people, just a little bit younger than me, I'm just like, they're born at 65, can attest to these things and can tell me things right now that they've never done, that I have done. Like you said, it is true. When I went to college, And see, for me, I went free of charge, real easy. I walked through life like it wasn't nothing. And see, I'm not supposed to tell anybody that. I walked through life like it wasn't nothing. I know what it's like to live in a subculture. The military is a subculture. I had privileges. Right, I had wonderful privileges. Okay? I was no different. I'm saying, I tell people this all the time. General Mike Flynn, that you see on TV, I knew him as a captain. He's my personal friend. I shared the same privileges that he had. But when it came to an African American, every last African American leader that I served with got in trouble. Every last one of them. And they'll look at me and swear that I'm not telling the truth. But people like that, when you say segregate, no, I don't believe it. There are good people in all walks of life.
Yep.
But what they're not telling you is that people, just because you're skin folk don't make you kin folk.
But I said integration. I said
No, I'm
The-
just here to tell them.
The book I was reading last night spoke to that. Skin folk.
Don't make you kin folk. I am judged by the color of my skin and not the contents of my character.
That's right.
And I'm one man in this country that can stand up to Donald Trump and say that.
Yes, that's what I'm
No,
talking about.
no one, I don't think there's an African American living right now today that can walk to him like I can. You can't. And I'll tell you that. I'll tell people that. So don't come and tell me that you can't. You don't know anything about this
wickedness in high places.
No.
Now we doing culture and politics and all that, okay?
Horrified the devil. When you look at me, I look straight at you. I know when you're wicked. And I'll tell you, you helped me with that. She did.
Sister Teresa.
You can say what you want to say. Just 2 weeks ago, I found out you shouldn't care if nobody don't like you. Right. Oh, you don't like me.
Oh,
Oh, I bookied my way through it just like this. And I dare you.
yeah.
Yes, I party. Why you think I come here? I come here to dance with the bishop. I don't come here with Bishop. Oh, look at what they did to me. Can you help? No. I come because I do great things. I speak it into it. I don't ask. I'm telling you. That's right. That's what it is. See, I'm getting ready to tell them.
Yeah.
I'm asking you. When they talk about injustice, if you do not know my Father, you don't know me.
Yeah.
And I don't have to explain myself to you.
Go ahead.
If you don't know my Father, and I never seen him.
That's maturity conversation right there.
I've never seen my Father. There's not an African American on this planet can say, if you want to know me, I am.
I am.
I am a father. I am a soldier. I am a police. I am a grandfather. All of it. I am. What are you?
I am.
What? No, that's what you. What are you? I am. Now, see, I'm big and bold enough to ask this, though.
Go ahead.
Are you the Messiah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we all have to come to the unity on that. Hey, Brother Milton, you preach that.
No, you don't understand. Tell me something spiritual. I want somebody in here to tell me something that you got spiritual. I'm gonna tell you something. Come on. I'll tell you what they don't need to tell you. I'm gonna tell you.
Can you come to the mic with it?
I'm gonna tell y'all something. This country don't want me to tell you. Y'all remember if you were born in D.C., anywhere in D.C. this time? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Y'all remember the Barbara Sizemore rally? No Sizemore, no school. Remember, we went on strike. Y'all remember? No Sizemore, no school. It was a Barbara Sizemore. She was the superintendent of D.C. Public School. Right? Y'all remember that? Do you remember that? Marion Barry, when I went in there, I was looking at that little girl. I was no closer than this when she made that statement on camera. Marion Barry was stood up there. He had on a plaid gray suit. I looked up at him. He stood like this. I seen him right before he passed because it was my destiny to see him. Okay? But let me tell you something about that. Let me tell you what happened to me. As I was growing up here, I'm going to tell you something. Age of 14, everybody got a summer job. Everybody got a summer job. At 13, my mother forged my birth certificate and I didn't get that job. And on the way home, you know what she told me? I still ain't giving you nothing. I said, Mama, we can fix it. She missed the code. I seen the code. She missed. Mama, we can go back. No. I went out and I got a job. And that day, my mother didn't give me another dime at 13. And I worked. And as I used to work on George Palmer, Church's Chicken, the best, in high school. Church's Chicken. I used to walk, Addison Road, walk past, I used to see this sky blue Ford Falcon. It was only $450. I was getting paid $100 a week. But I couldn't save the money to get it. So the Lord made came to a montage. I joined the army to buy a car. I joined the army to buy a car. Went all over, had a car all out in California. I do buy a car. Montage, went to Germany. I'm gonna tell you something. I had a pretty 1978 Datsun 280Z 2+2. And let me tell you something. This ain't look. I was in Frankfurt, Germany. And guess what I played? Drop the bomb. You want to drop the bomb. You want to drop the bomb on the
Yeah.
in the club all night. Drop bomb. Drop bomb. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me. This is the worst day of my life after that happened. November the 24th, 1984, Gaddafi dropped the bomb on the PX. And I'm one of the 34 that received the Purple Heart from President Reagan. And ever since I got there, it's been a bullseye on me. They've been trying to lock me up. Straight. And I'm not talking about games. Right now, today. And I'm waiting on the devil. I'm waiting on him right now. I want him to. They've been trying to lock me up. I'm going to tell you right now. I fast tracked. Went all the way to the top. There's not a record on me. There's a dossier on me. A dossier. 20 years, 14 days. 2 years TSA. Dual function screener. Looking for bombs. 12 years jumping out of airplanes. Man, they didn't care about my job. All they care about is what I gave because I had privileges. Okay? They paid me to go to school. I went to college free of charge. 143 credit hours in 27 months. Ain't studied nothing. Ain't studied a thing. And paid me money. Every time I went to school, I got about 15 military schools. Flew me all over the country. Paid me to sit in the classroom. I ain't never used none of it. But they want me to be quiet. They want me to be quiet. When you're black, every black leader, all he wanted to talk about is sex. And they all got it. So I made a court martial. Said, go to enough black. All to do. That is true. The women that can't make it, they compromise themselves. I knew what everybody was doing. I had a pride. When you got a pride, when you the man, I'm going to tell you something. Like Lou Gossett, offensive and a gentleman. I had 8 of them. 8 of them. And how I know General Mike Flynn? Because he wanted me to be his. He wanted me to be his. But my general's name is General Mark R. Quantock. Okay? And it's 4 of them. Great leaders of this country. I got a General Noonan, a white man, that he did not have to give me a chance in Hawaii. Because my own wouldn't. Just because you have it don't mean you get the job. My friend that I played softball with 9 months out of the year, I just got finished at the Pentagon. He taught me that. Consider him one of the smartest people in the world. He didn't make general. Name is Colin Agent. What I call a Jedi Knight. Don't know. Colin Powell was a Jedi Knight. When that happened to me in Frankfurt, Germany, Colin Powell was there. I sit outside the Abrams building. Watch officers come from his office. Head down. Not me. See, in the military, NCOs do the work. We do the work. Not no general. You don't do nothing. But I can go in his office, and I'm going to tell you, I ain't going to say, he ain't going to do right. He ain't going to do right. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm saying. Me,